AITA for yelling at a kid for crawling under my table at a restaurant? My friend Jack and I after a long stressful week like to go to the local pizza place. It's not fine dining by any stretch of the imagination, but there are booths and tables of people sitting down. I see a large table near us of like 10 people, a few couples and bunch of small kids between like 4 and 8, and the kids are running around the restaurant being loud while the adults are drinking wine and eating their pizza. I ignore the commotion for like 20 minutes when suddenly, I feel like a hand on my leg and one of the little kids is crawling under Jack and my table. I wasn't thinking and snapped at the kid, and said, "Get away from our table." And the kid ran away and burst into tears. One of the parents at the other table came over and started tearing into me about how cranky and mean I was and how dare I yell at her kid, who was just playing. Meanwhile, her and the other middle-aged 40-something parents are letting their kids run amok and be loud and obnoxious while my friend and I are trying to enjoy a night out. I ripped her a new one and said, "How entitled do you need to be to think it's okay to let your kids just crawl under other people's tables?" She called me an asshole and walked away in a huff. NTA. Her exhaustion boundaries. Parental philosophy: create no obligations for you. Your personal space was invaded, you reacted to repair that. NTA. You are not a jungle gym, and your table is not a play place. Look at my username. Now, I am going to say you are NTA. People should not let their kids be crawling around on the floor under their own table, nonetheless someone else's. NTA. People who don't scold their kids shouldn't be surprised when their kids get scolded by strangers, especially if they are just letting their kids go around and invade people's personal space. You didn't do anything wrong and the mom and all the rest of those parents are all major Oz. NTA. Someone's gotta teach the kid they can't do whatever the fuck they want, and it apparently won't be their parents. Invading a stranger's personal space and touching them is a big enough deal to warrant being told off immediately and harshly. On behalf of all restaurant workers everywhere, thank you for yelling at the mom. It's been years since I worked in a restaurant, but the rage from watching people let their kids run around unsupervised never really goes away. NTA. NTA. Her child is not entitled to invade your personal space and physically touch your person any more than you would be entitled to do the same. She needs to get a grip. She didn't want her kid yelled at. She should have been parenting her own child. NTA. You are a stranger to that kid. The kid should not have been going under random tables and the parents obviously weren't watching the child. He also could have been hurt under your table. This is what I was thinking. If I randomly felt a hand on my leg under the table, my first instinct would be to kick. That kid could have gotten seriously injured. I have actually kicked a kid under the table. We were out with family, and constantly kicking whoever was sat in front of him was a known problem. Homie did it for the first time ever to me and I'm a very reactive person, so I auto-kicked him back. He cried but refused to tell anyone why and never did it again as far as I knew. I had the exact same thought. I would kick hard if a random hand touched my leg without me seeing it coming. And I wear platform boots, that really wouldn't be pretty. This kid was pretty lucky to just get yelled at. I'm kind of scared to admit that this would have been a likely reaction of mine if I had a mouthful of pizza and been distracted. Same. I have a big startle reflex. I most certainly would have kicked the fuzz out of whatever was touching me and asked questions later. Then I would have been the asshole. There's probably one of 3 reactions I would have had. 1. Jumping and naturally curling partially into a fear ball, and then straightening out reflexively, likely stomping the kid. 2. Reflexively kicking. 3. A reflexive grab, yank, and twist. All of which could cause actual harm to a child. Though I will admit that I startle incredibly easily. To the point I will fully expect the sound or movement and it still gives me a start. So my being startled has an oddly strong reaction for some reason. But I figure someone yelling is the better option for reflexes when someone unexpectedly touches you. NTA. If you don't want strangers shouting at your kids, don't let them climb under strangers' tables. These parents baffle me. It only takes one creep to decide to leave the restaurant with your kid, or someone to accidentally kick them and cause them injury. I like kids so much I made my own, but that doesn't mean I want someone else's, or even mine for that matter, climbing about under the table whilst I am trying to eat. NTA. If she has opinions on how strangers are allowed to interact with her kids, she shouldn't have allowed her kids to run around and interact with strangers. NTA. OMG. Isn't little Johnny cute? With his pizza sauce cheesy hand all up your pant leg. That's just so precious. Let me get my camera. NTA. As the parent of a small kid between 4 and 8, I say you're responsible for your kid's behavior in a public place. If you're going to a restaurant, then bring a tablet or crayons or whatever to keep your kids occupied. You don't let them become a problem for other customers or for the staff. The mom was way out of line. NTA. As a former server, I hate these families. They think that because they are giving their money to a restaurant, they have complete run of the place. If you can't keep your kids at the table and relatively calm, there's McDonald's down the street. I am not a babysitter, and if I kick your kid because they are screwing around the kitchen doors, so be it. The kid is not the asshole. But the parents are not only assholes, but extremely irresponsible, dangerous parents. That kid could have been injured or worse. A creep could see those kids and easily take them, and I doubt the parents would notice. It's remarkable to me how people have kids and don't bother parenting them, instead making their children everyone else's responsibility. NTA. Someone needs to yell at the little brat, and the parents obviously weren't going to do it. NTA. Shitty parents, shitty kids. The kids act like that because they have no home training. Kid could have been kicked in the face while under the table, then what? The restaurant should have thrown them out, and the parents need the hell slapped out of them. NTA. I hate when people don't know the difference between a playground and pizzeria. My kid at age 4 actually told off a kid at the same age for running round daft. That kid went to his mum with chalked face and told his mum, "You didn't tell me I couldn't play here. Why didn't you know?" And I never seen a mum clear out faster after that.